And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Now, if you're looking for a new car, more cars are finally available and prices are leveling out. But there's still a persistent problem for buyers: interest rates. Karl Brauer with ISEE Cars joins me to break down the costs. First of all, Karl, many people are concerned about the timing to buy cars with interest rates. Let's begin there. Are the interest rates going down? Is now the time to buy? Or if you don't buy, you may be waiting forever?
Yeah, it's been a tough atmosphere because the prices on vehicles have been so high for really 3+ years since the pandemic hit. And now we've got high interest rates. So you've got high prices plus a higher cost to loan or borrow the money to buy the car. The good news is that new car prices are somewhat moderating. They're still on average around 8% above asking price, but that's, believe it or not, lower than they've been for most of the past 3 years. Better news is some cars are definitely down from MSRP. So it used to be universally expensive to buy any new or even used car. Now it's not universal, and you can find deals out there. And because of that, manufacturers on the cars they're having more trouble selling, they're offering more attractive financing. So you can actually get some good financing and some good interest rates on some of the cars. But now is the epitome of that old saying that, do your due diligence. Knowledge is power. Research. If you just throw a dart at the wall, you could very well spend too much money. But if you research, you might find a pretty good deal out there.
And of course, there are many varying factors when it comes to the interest rate that you get. But what would be a good standard interest rate in this climate that we're in now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not uncommon to have to pay over 4%, 5% for a car loan, but it's also not impossible to find incentives that are dropping those down to 2% for a car loan. So that kind of seems to be your range, somewhere in that range. And of course, a million other factors, as you said, credit rating and the amount you're borrowing and all that. But it's certainly possible to get a sub 4% loan on some cars from some lenders, but you got to do your due diligence and research.
Now, you guys have done a survey and looked at some of the most overpriced cars in Houston. Let's take a look at that list. What do you have on the list, Karl?
Yeah, we've got cars like, I think the Porsche Taycan was one of the most expensive car priced over MSRP. I'm looking at my list here, and yeah, $28,000, almost $29,000 over MSRP. Now that's a limited production electric vehicle. You've got a very affluent buyer, so they're not struggling at all to buy the car. They want the car, they go buy it, and they'll pay over MSRP if they have to. And that's not uncommon on luxury brands. You see other vehicles in here. You got another Porsche, the Porsche Macan. You've got a Lexus. You've got a Genesis, the GV70, a new vehicle that's very desirable. So you get these luxury cars, especially if they're in limited supply, like the EV or maybe the brand new Genesis. People will just have to pay what it takes to get them, and the people who buy those cars, they'll do that.
And of course, you can almost get into a bidding war at these dealerships if you want that car that bad.
Yes. Yeah. And that limited supply and high demand, that's exactly right. And the dealer is happy to play potential buyers against each other if they can crank the price up more.
Now, let's say the good news for last, those cars that are below sticker price. So here in Houston, what's on that list?
Yeah. So you've got the Infiniti QX80, which is a very large, roomy luxury SUV with a lot of space inside, but it's down only 4.5%. I also find it fascinating, Isaiah, that the cars that are over MSRP are over 20+% in Houston, and the ones that are under, you're lucky to get 3 to 4% under. So it's still, that just shows you the balance right there. But the Infiniti is the cheapest car. It's about $3,600 under MSRP at 4.5%. Then you've got the Jeep Cherokee, about 3.5%, 3.5. Volvo C40, same thing, down about $1,300 to $2,000 below MSRP. Same with the Compass and the Nissan Armada. So you can't get a lot off, but you can at least get below MSRP. Remember when they used to all be below MSRP?
Yes, I remember those days. So can you still go in, Karl, and negotiate that price, even if it may be above or below MSRP? Just take a chance, be a difficult customer?
Absolutely. No, I think you're getting some leverage back as the buyer. And again, this is where research comes in. Obviously, if someone knew the study, they knew that these particular models in Houston, the Infiniti, the Jeep, the Volvo, if they knew that these vehicles were going for under MSRP, and you can find one on a dealer lot. If that particular lot doesn't have it priced under MSRP, you could maybe talk to the person and say, look, I know these things aren't selling particularly well in this city. I've seen the research online, and maybe negotiate a little more aggressively.
And